All right, folks, this is Harris Sultan, and something unprecedented is happening right before our eyes. Let me unpack this. We remember seeing how Austrians welcomed the Nazis. Some French people even welcomed the Nazis. Obviously, we saw how the Iraqis welcomed the Americans. You could still look at it with suspicion that maybe these people are trying to win over some favors from their new masters. Maybe they are just doing it for their personal benefit. But something what is happening right now has never happened before. That is, the Iranian people are actually egging Israel on to bomb the Islamic Republic of Iran. Now, obviously, they're not doing that because they're going to win over some favors from Israel. They genuinely are so sick and tired of the Islamic regime that they would rather have a third party bomb them. Even someone like me who understood, not as much as our guest, but I knew that since Masa Amini, and obviously before that as well, a lot of protests have erupted over the decades. And I could understand now why they hate the Islamic regime so much, but I could not have imagined that they would want a third party, an arch nemesis, to bomb their own country. So, to make sense out of it, I've got my favorite Iranian, my favorite ex Muslim atheist, the founder of Atheist Republic, Armin Navabi, with me. Armin, welcome. Please tell me what the hell is going on. What is happening here?
Yeah, anybody who's following what's happening in Iran knows the amount of displeasure, the wide gap between the Iranian people and the Iranian government. So much so that it seems like it's completely something foreign. Like the Iranian people, I don't know if we have anywhere in the world a government so far away ideology with this big of a gap from its own people.
Mm.
As when it comes to how liberal, how secular the Iranian people are, and these people have gotten a theocracy. There's
Hmm.
no other
So
country
unfair.
with such a there's no other country with such a gap.
Also, hold on to that thought.
Yeah.
Usually, when there is a foreign threat, no matter how divided your society is, it tends to unite them all together. But we're seeing the exact opposite in Iran.
It is actually uniting people together. It's uniting them against their government. Right.
That's the opposite.
Right. Right. So
Yeah, so carry
I
on.
mean, to be fair, it's not everybody who is welcoming this, right? So we ran a poll in our own community, in our own Iranian community, asking our audience if they would welcome an Israeli counterstrike to what the Islamic Republic of Iran did. And again, this is why I'm always careful about my language. I'm never this careful about my language with any other country. We don't say Israel hit Iran, like Iran hit Israel. If you notice, a lot of Iranians, they don't use the word Iran because they don't think it's
Yeah.
fair when it comes to referring to the Islamic Republic of Iran. They don't even want to mention Iran. Like they say the Islamic Republic, and they use the word Iran and Islamic Republic separately because they don't even consider this to be an Iranian regime because they don't represent Iranians. We ran a poll. I can show you the poll.
Before we show the poll, let's just see the kind of face that the Islamic regime is trying to
Mm.
show to the world. This is what just happened a couple of days ago in the Iranian parliament. Is that what it's called? If it's called a
Majlis.
parliamentarian, have a look at this. Your Majlis, yeah,
Yes.
have a look at this. I think we've seen enough. So that was the initial reaction after that phony attack that Iran had on Israel with 300 projectiles, not maybe one or two hit the intended target. So this is what the Islamic regime wants the world to see.
I'm gonna go from the least convincing to the most convincing. Okay, for you to
Okay.
know. Yeah, because the reason why the first thing I'm gonna show you is the least convincing is because this was a poll to our audience. So we have a Iranian audience. Most of our audience is in Iran. 80% of them are Iranian within Iran, and 20% of them are Iranians outside of Iran. So we posted a question asking them. So you can see 1,700 people replied. So we asked آیا از حمله اسرائیل به جمهوری اسلامی در پاسخ به حملات موشکی و پهپادی جمهوری اسلامی استقبال می‌کنید؟ Which translates to, do you welcome an attack by Israel against the Islamic Republic in response to the Islamic Republic's missile and drone attacks? And as you can see, 63% answered yes, and 37% answered no. And to provide you more context, if you go in the comment sections, you can see that most of the people who are against a counter strike, the main reason that they offered was economic hardship, because as soon as there is any conflict, the price of dollar in Iran skyrockets. As you can see, even with the first attack by the Islamic Republic against Israel, the price of dollar went above 70,000 2 months, which is directly hits the wallets of Iranians. So the main reasons why we see people were against this was the economic hardship they have to pay for the increased conflict. But also to provide context for the people who were saying yes, the 63% that were saying yes, they were saying yes to Israel specifically hitting military targets or nuclear facilities, not civilian sites. We're not saying that we will welcome Israel coming out and like bombing Tehran or something like this. And a lot of people were also asking for the house of the supreme leader to be targeted as well. So that's what people are welcoming, not civilian casualties. That's what they were saying. So that was the first thing I wanted to show you.
Now, the critics can say that this is your audience, so it could be biased. And that's why I believe you called it the least convincing argument to support why Iranians are okay with Israel bombing the regime's targets. So, what's more convincing?
Also, by the way, the reason why a lot of people support a strike because they support anything that is against the Islamic Republic, and also some people are hoping that a strike against the Islamic Republic will eventually lead to further escalations, which will lead to the toppling of the regime. That's another thing. All right, I want to show you some graffitis in Iran.
Okay.
These are people in Iran. So this one says, wow, I actually haven't pre-read these. Okay, so this one says Israel bezan bagyesh ba ma kaf khiyabun, which says Israel hit them and leave the rest to us in the streets.
That's what I've been thinking. America is chickening out. If Israel and America bomb these
Right.
specific targets, then the Iranian public will do the rest.
Maybe, maybe not. I'm not here to predict anything. I'm here
Speculate.
just
Okay.
to, yeah, I don't, yeah, I
Come on,
don't know.
Armin. You got to put your balls on the line sometimes. We got to turn off the
Right.
rational side for a minute, because that's how human passion works. Like, we get something out of people by powerful words and some hope.
Right.
So if you tell them yes, it's going to happen, then they will do it.
The thing is that I don't want to encourage something that I will enjoy seeing the benefits of, but I would not pay the cost of, right? So whether the people in Iran are going to come into the streets or not, it's up to them. Given that I am living outside of Iran, and if that happens, I'm not going to be paying the cost for it. I just consider myself a supporter. I'll see what they do and I'll support that rather than encouraging something that they have to pay the price for it. That's how I see
So you don't want to be Ayatollah Khamenei, who started his
it.
revolution movement from France.
We're a support team. We're not like encouraging anybody. It's up to them. Okay. The Iranians outside of Iran, I think they should just see what the Iranians inside of Iran do and ask them what they want and just be the support team. That's what I think. Anyways, let's go to the next graffiti.
Oh, Israel. I can
Uh,
read Israel. I don't know. I don't understand the rest.
oh, this is a
Jannat?
poker.
Heaven?
Okay, so it says hashtag strike Israel strike. So basically saying Israel strike them. And then under it, it says دستشون جفت پوچه دارن خالی بازی میکنن. So it's saying that these people, the regime, their hands are both empty. So I think this is a poker reference because it's saying the
Yeah.
two cards that they have is both like nothing. They are playing empty. So it basically means that they're bluffing. They have nothing up their sleeves. Okay, so that's what another graffiti in Iran. And I
Meaning, don't
like
worry.
this one.
Meaning, don't worry. They've
Yeah,
got nothing. Just attack them. Don't worry.
just attack it. They have nothing. Yes, basically. This is another graffiti in Iran saying Israel Beit represent. So Beit, which refers to Beit Rahbari, which means the house of the supreme leader, which is also his office. It's like the White House of Iran, right? So it says Israel hit the Beit, which means Israel hit the home of the supreme leader. So it's asking Israel to specifically target the residency of the supreme leader of Iran, Khamenei, hit his home, which probably is not going to happen, but that's what people are saying. But anyways, I want to go to the next graffiti. They say, hit them, Israel. This is in English. I don't even have to translate. Iranians are behind you. And then hashtag Israel Bazan, which Israel strike, right? So that's the hashtag there. So I do want to go to now news report by Iran International. This was announced right when the attacks were happening. Like this was happening while we were all waiting to see that the drones and the missiles were on the way to from Iran to Israel. And this came out, and this is Talat Sepah, which means the intelligence arm of the IRGC, which is like one of the top intelligence operations
This is
of
the
the
CIA,
main.
basically.
It's kind of like the CIA. We have two CIAs in Iran, and this is the main one because this is works for the IRGC. So they came out and they warned that they will deal with the citizens who are supporting Israel in on social media. Right?
Wow. So they also know that the problem needs to be tackled because this is
Right.
bad. As I said, a foreign threat should be uniting people under one banner, not egging them on to, hey, come and attack us.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
criminal.
Good luck with that,
Yes.
Iran, because
Yeah.
I've heard that since Masa Amini's riots, they're not even enforcing hijab rules.
Actually, they're back at it, and that's relevant to Israel. The reason why enforcing hijab rules are back on the table, and they were enforcing hijab laws aggressively as soon as the missiles and the drones were being thrown at in the direction of Israel. So this one was the main thing I wanted to show you, because this shows that it's not us who are saying that there's a lot of support for Israel within Iran. The IRGC announced this while the attack was happening. So this shows that the support for Israel was increasing on social media while the Islamic Republic was attacking Israel. You know, me and you, we talked on a show earlier about how many Iranians support Israel. And a lot of people assume, okay, maybe that's there, but if there's ever a war between these two countries, that will decrease. But what we're seeing right now is that actually support for Israel increases if there's a war between the Islamic Republic of Iran and Israel.
And that stream that we did together, that was seen by, I think, nearly 450, nearly 500,000 people, that actually is testament to whatever you were saying was true, because we can see that in real time translating. As I said, this is unprecedented. Even if they have a soft spot for another country, but if that country wants to attack you, then people don't like that country anymore. But here we're seeing the reverse, where people are saying, yes, Israel, come on, attack us.
Yeah, not us. They don't say us because
There's an Islamic regime, yes.
Let me go to this other one. I don't know if do you want me to play this?
Absolutely, play it. Piers Morgan doesn't
Okay.
send a strike.
The Iranian people want Israel to bomb them. Do they? Do they? That's the most preposterous thing I have ever heard in my life.
I said the Iranian people want. It's actually not. There are multiple polls that show that. I personally think it's crazy.
Multiple polls that show that they want to be bombed by Israel?
There have been that they support,
What an idiot, Cenk.
Israeli strikes. That they support Israeli strikes on regime, IRGC, and regime sites exclusively. On IRGC sites. Yes, the majority of the Iranian people support regime change. The majority of the Iranian people support regime change. I find it disgraceful that you are laughing at the suffering of 80 million people who live under an Islamist dictatorship. There are women who are being dragged away by the morality police. As the Crown Prince mentioned, there is a second front of this war, and it is against the Iranian people internally. Is that funny to you?
Let me get
Is it funny to you that women are being kidnapped by the regime?
Of the time? Is she just going to talk 90% of the time?
Why don't you respond to that?
Is that funny to you?
Let me just respond real quick.
Do you find it funny that women, that Iranians are being oppressed?
Can I respond?
Wow, this guy needs some anger management classes, doesn't he?
Cenk himself quote tweeted this and said, "Watch this neocon claim the people of Iran want to be bombed by Israel." By the way, that's not what she said. They don't
Yeah,
want
here's Islamic
themselves.
regime.
Yeah, the regime. This is why these idiots don't understand the difference between the Iranian people and the Iranian regime. Supporting an Israeli strike on the Iranian regime on Iranian soil, that doesn't mean that they want to be bombed themselves. Okay, they want to be
Yeah.
liberated from their oppressors, from the regime.
Mm.
And then it says it was impossible not to laugh out loud. She then conflated their dissatisfaction with the Iranian regime with wanting to be bombed. That's not what she said. They don't want to be bombed themselves. They want Israel to come and bomb the Islamic Republic of Iran. Are the Israelis and US going to be greeted as liberators? Sounds familiar. It's funny he says that because once you go down, you can see that the comment section is filled with Iranians saying that
Wow.
yes, we would want this.
We,
Yes.
we want this. Wow.
Yes.
Wow. He's an idiot.
And Emily herself posted, "Hey, Jink, is that how you see his name? Jink, right? Jink. Try reading your comments because he got ratioed badly with so many Iranians saying like, yes, you have no idea what you're talking about. We do support Israel coming out and
striking the Islamic regime.
The regime. Yes, exactly. It's filth. It's insane how many people responded to it. Yeah. But they were
and
all
how many
there.
times we've seen Iranian people protesting along with Israelis. They have their own flag, though. I think it's a different flag. I think it's the flag from the Shah's era. Is that correct? The flag that they wave, it's got a lion in the middle. Yeah.
Yes, it's a flag. Yep. Iranian people do not like the current flag. This is the Islamic Republic. They don't consider that to be Iran's flag. They consider that to be the Islamic Republic's flag. So, yeah, the Iranian people and Israeli people are natural allies. They have the Islamic Republic between them. And a lot of people don't understand because they think Iran is against Israel. Iran has never been against Israel. It's the Islamic Republic that is against Israel. The Iranian people and the Israeli people are the Middle East is a wasteland. It's a area in the world that is morally bankrupt when it comes to a lot of
it's a moral
values.
Dump.
Yes, but we have two groups of people that celebrate a lot of the values. There are other peoples in this area that do the same, but there are two centers in the Middle East with a high population of people that celebrate and value the ideas that actually makes the world better. And that's Iran and Israel. And that's why, given what a tough neighborhood these people live in, and given that the main enemies of both of these people is the Islamic Republic of Iran, the shared values and the shared enemies make these two groups of people natural allies. That's why they get so offended. It's Iranian people get so offended when people lump them in with the regime themselves because they could not be any farther from them. And that's why, as they both fight against the Islamic Republic, the Israeli people and Iranian people, they keep finding each other and they keep building bridges with each other and they keep introducing each other to building connections. And again, together, the Iranian people and the Israeli people are going to be stronger, much stronger against this shared enemy. And that's why the Iranian regime fears about Israeli people and Iranian people uniting with each other against this shared enemy.
I uploaded a video yesterday where I was discussing Israel's options. Israel's first and foremost protection against all the bullies around it is this massive deterrence factor, which is that if you come after us, we're going to come back with interest. Now, Israel is battling on two fronts because on the one hand, you have ever weakening Biden because it's an election year and he needs a lot of leftist votes who hate Israel. But Israel cannot not respond to Iran's attack on Israeli soil. But at the same time, it cannot go too hard because America doesn't want to be a part of it. Historically, America has always exported freedom and liberty and liberated people from dictators. If there ever was an opportunity to genuinely free a people from its oppressors, then that is the Iranian people. But the US is so weak. Unfortunately, it's such a bad time for America to go to war that America has just borderline abandoned Israel. And Biden has clearly said that we will defend you, but we're not going to take part in any offensive action. And I don't think Israel can go after Iran without the US's support. But there is a plus side as well, that if Israel provokes Iran into a full-fledged war, but then America, whether it wants it or not, it will be dragged into the war. I reckon Israel has three options. A, go after Iranian nuclear facilities, in which case have the anger of its Western allies, but they wouldn't be able to abandon if Iran responds. Or the other option is Iran may not even respond, in which case Iran will be set back at least 5 to 10 years from achieving its nuclear ambitions. Second option is just bomb some empty places and say, hey, look, we took our revenge. Now that's going to be an L, in my opinion, for Israel. Or the third option is, which is a in-between kind of an option, that is to go after Iranian interests on third-party countries like Lebanon or Syria. So I reckon if Israel wants to command the respect it has always commanded, it should go after Iranian nuclear facilities. But that is a big step. That could definitely provoke a war, which could anger America and its Western allies. What do you have to say to that?
I don't think that anybody, neither United States, Israel, or the Islamic Republic of Iran, wants a full-on war, right? If Israel wants to strike within the borders of Iran, to go in, take out certain sites, and then leave. But Israel does not have the appetite or the capacity to go on a full-on war, what we have with Ukraine and Russia right now. That's not what they want. That's not what anybody. Maybe that's what
Because
many
they don't
some
share
Iranian
borders
people
either.
might
They
want.
don't have the capability without America.
They don't. Israel doesn't have the capability. United States doesn't have the appetite for that because the people of United States don't want like a war like that. The Islamic Republic doesn't want like that because they are afraid. Like they're rationally
be
afraid
toppled.
of something like that. Yeah. So nobody, given that nobody wants that, I don't think that will happen.
So then why not
So-
bomb Iran's nuclear facilities?
Okay, if Israel goes within the Iranian soil, there are military facilities or nuclear facilities that it could take. The problem with some nuclear facilities that will cause the greatest amount of damage is that they are so deep within the mountains that only with US bombers you could be able to cause certain damage. Like Israel doesn't have the bombers needed to be able to go deep enough to be able to make those damages, like because they have so there are some other nuclear sites that you could take out without those bombers, but it's not going to be as significant as those things that they have deep.
But at least it will push back Iran's nuclear program to some extent.
Not unless you hit the ones that Iran knows
Deep within the mountain.
United States for that, right? There are many military facilities with Iranian rockets or Iranian drones that would be a great target for Israel to hit. Those are some options that it could go for. The thing is that if Israel doesn't take this opportunity to hit within Iran's borders, it has done a major disservice to the Israeli citizens, because this door might never open again, because if it opens again by that time, Iran might be already nuclear. So given that the Iranian regime has done something that could somewhat make it legitimate, like by somewhat, I personally think it's completely legitimate, but internationally would make it considered more legitimate for Israel to have a response. This is the opportunity that the Islamic Republic of Iran has gifted to Israel, and not taking, because Iran going fully nuclear at some point is such a threat to the Israeli people that any government of Israel has the responsibility to do whatever it can to delay that from happening. And this is an opportunity for you to do that. And if you don't take it, if I was an Israeli citizen, I would not be satisfied. I would be complaining against my government. A lot of people, like United States, for example, is pressuring Israel, and France is pressuring Israel not to respond because defending Israel was so successful. Because they say nobody in Israel died. Take that win. You don't need to respond. But that's insane. That's an insane suggestion, because you are basically signaling to the enemies of Israel that if you succeed, then wow, you succeed, good job. But if you don't, you have nothing to lose, because they will just take that as a win and they will not respond. So that is an unbelievable precedent to set.
Yeah.
And it's a horrible signal to the Islamic Republic of Iran when it comes to what. Also, by the way, a lot of people miss this, but after Israel attacked the so-called consulate of Iran, of the Islamic
Isn't that a
Republic in
consulate
Syria,
though? Some people are saying it is a consulate.
it's bullcrap, because there were 7 generals, military officials in that building, right? So what are they doing in a consulate? You do not get to have diplomatic immunity when you are having military operations or military planning in a building.
True.
You do not get to call that a consulate anymore, right? That
Is there a
becomes a
violation
fair
of
target.
international law?
Israel strike on that building? No.
Yeah, but because they're saying that technically, if it's a consulate, then it's a violation of international law. But as you made a good point, that an embassy or a consulate is for diplomatic purposes. It's not for planning an attack on
military
a foreign
attacks
soil.
on Israel. Yes, they're basically losing the protection under international law for a building. You don't get to just call a building a consulate and just do whatever you want and just say, oh, you can't hit us because we just labeled this building a consulate. That's not how it works. This is what people don't understand with hospitals in Gaza as well. Like, as soon as you do military operations within a building, you lose your
Hospital
protection under
status
international
or untouchable. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. But here's the thing: compare what Israel did to what the Islamic Republic of Iran did. Israel used one missile. One missile. They took 7 high-ranking military officials of the Islamic Republic. One of
the guy was Mohammed Zahidi.
Yes, the highest military official they could have, comparable to Qasem Soleimani, with one missile. The Islamic Republic used more than 300 drones and missiles, and all they got was that they injured a Bedouin Arab girl, severely injured. Right? So
poor girl.
Yes.
Oh. Let's not forget about it, because I also misspoke and I said just one, but then no, but that girl is a living, breathing human being, and this terrorist regime attacked her. Yeah, no, good point. That's a very good point. I thought about that.
Yeah. So the point I wanted to make is, right after they made that strike and that the Zahidi guy was killed, the Islamic Republic of Iran came and confirmed, and Hamas came and confirmed that guy was involved in the planning of the October 7th attacks.
He gave the thumbs up, basically, to Hamas.
Yeah, that means the Islamic Republic of Iran officially confirmed what we have been saying, that October 7th was it wasn't just that Hamas is funded by the Islamic Republic of Iran and Hamas did this by itself. No, this was planned by the Islamic Republic of Iran, which means that all of this talk about whether hitting the so-called consulate was okay, whether Israel should now attack the Islamic Republic of Iran or not, that goes all out of the window, because people are like, oh, Israel shouldn't respond because nobody died. Okay, 1,200 people died. We now have confirmation by the Islamic Republic of Iran that October 7th was an attack by the Islamic Republic of Iran. That is, in my books, that's a declaration of war.
I'm just going to be you for a second. I'm going to nitpick your argument. They could argue and say that we didn't plan it. We just gave a green light that we won't stop you. And that's why, as soon as the October 7th terrorist attacks happened, Iran said that we were not a part of it, but we glorify those brave Hamas terrorists who did what they did. So it's a green light. It's not really planning.
No, okay, but this is what I'm saying. They just came out and said that we planned it. That's what they did.
We gave a green light. Didn't they say that we just gave a thumbs up? We
that
just
was before. Yes, that was before. Right. That was after October 7th. Now that they killed this Zahidi guy, they say, oh, this guy that you just killed, this was a hero of us who was specifically involved in the planning of October 7th.
These guys are idiots or something. They just confessed to the whole world.
I could not believe, why are you giving us this? Why are you telling us this? This is so bad for you. And again...
And that also means Israel also knew this. That's why the target is Zahidi.
I don't know how much Israel knew, okay? But...
Why would they go after that guy specifically? Obviously, they went after that group of people specifically. It was a big step.
Because that was the Qasem Soleimani of the Islamic Republic right now, and he was available, and Israel had promised that we will come back for you, right?
Okay.
But I don't know, maybe they knew. But here's the thing. This all goes back to the main thing I wanted to tell you from the beginning of this show. Why did the Islamic Republic of Iran attack Israel the way it did? Because a lot of analysts were saying that the Islamic Republic will not do anything like that. The United States were saying that they will do something like that. I had some analysts, Iranian analysts, on my show before the Islamic Republic of Iran responded in the way it did to the consulate attack. They said that there was no way that there will be any direct attack. They said it's very unlikely that there would be any direct attack from the Iranian regime itself on Israel, because this is completely against the Islamic Republic's doctrine. The Islamic Republic's foreign policy and military doctrine was always that it will use its proxies, and it will never use its own military, and it will never attack from its soil, because they will always want plausible deniability. And this was a red line, their own red line that they crossed. And given how they operated before, they guessed that this is not going to happen. And it did. And I told them why in my show, if you go watch my Persian show, why I think they will. This is different from before. And they did. Also, it's easy to guess that, because these days it seems like a bad idea to guess against the United States intelligence. Ever since the United States told that Russia is about to attack Ukraine, and everybody laughed at the United States, and then it happened. The United States recently warned Russia that there's going to be an ISIS attack, and they told Russia exactly where the ISIS attack is going to be. That happened where the United States said it will happen. United States also warned the Islamic Republic that there's going to be an ISIS attack in their country. United States has this policy that even if a country is your enemy, if they find out that there's going to be a terrorist attack, they have the responsibility of telling the government. And it did happen. There was a whole bunch of other things that the United States predicted, and it did happen. So they also predicted this time that Iranian government is going to attack Israel from its soil, and it did happen. They are very afraid of an escalation because they cannot afford a war. But the main threat to the Islamic Republic is something that people don't talk about that often, right? So there's 3 threats to the Islamic Republic, and people don't talk about the third one, right? So the first main threat to the Islamic Republic is foreign threats, like a foreign attack, like Israel or United States or something like that. The second is the Mahsa revolution, the people of Iran rising up against the government, right?
What's the
A
third
revolution.
one? I'm curious.
Yeah. Okay. But the third one is the one that the Islamic Republic of Iran is the most afraid of, and they're smart to be the most afraid of. The main threat is the Islamic radicals, right?
Oh, wow. We never thought about that.
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
No, are they Sunni Islamic radicals or Shia Islamic radicals?
No, their current main supporters are also the greatest threat.
Really? What more do they want? They want them to be even more hardliner than that?
Yes. They don't.
Yeah, there's always a hardline wing, even within hardline governments.
The Islamic Republic of Iran is not at all Islamic enough for a lot of these people taste. A lot of these people, they think they're losing their country. They don't recognize Iran anymore. They go into the streets.
Through liberalism?
Yeah, they think that Iran is too liberal. They think that the Islamic Revolution has gone to waste, that they have given martyrs, they have given blood, and the ideals, because these are the people who want to give the flag of the Islamic Republic to hand it over to the Mahdi, right? This is the country that is the base for the army of the Mahdi to come. And every year it's becoming farther and farther away from the ideal Islamic country. And you have to understand.
Those of you who don't know, Mahdi is a Muslim messiah.
Yes, the 12th Imam Zaman, the Imam of time, right? So again, that's a whole bunch of apocalyptic mumbo jumbo that we could get into. But the point is that the Islamic Republic of Iran has probably less than 8% support right now in Iran, right? And this is an 8% that it cannot afford to lose. Even a dictatorship needs some level of support. You cannot maintain a control over your population with 3% support. That's basically the last pillar left for you. So this 8%...
I'm surprised they can do that even with 8%.
Yes, but this 8% is a very valuable 8%. If this 8%...
These are the ones who can die for it. They're the real hardcore ones.
But every day they're becoming less supporting of this regime, right? If this 8% drops to 6%, drops to 5%, it becomes unimaginable for this regime to be able to survive. So it doesn't care about all the other people. It doesn't care about the 92%. The 92% that it has lost for good. The Islamic Republic of Iran, what it does, it's for this 8%. You have to understand, every country's politics is internal. 90% of what every country does is based on its internal politics, not based on its foreign politics. You have to look at what's happening internally in this country. So if you want to understand what the Islamic Republic does and why it does it, you have to understand what this 8% wants, because it needs to feed this 8%. These are the people, unlike the secular opposition to the Islamic Republic, these maniacs, this 8% radical Islamists, they're willing to die for their ideals. And they have been military trained, and they have a lot more influence within the Islamic Republic's institution, within the IRG, within the Majlis, within every part of the Islamic Republic. They have people in there. So if they're upset, it matters more to the Islamic Republic. What do these people want? What makes these people upset?
Why are you not responding?
Yes, weakness. Weakness against the enemies of Islam makes these people angry. Seeing women without hijab in the streets of Iran makes these people angry with the government. Where are you? This is why every time you see an execution in Iran, and you're like, why would the Islamic Republic do this? Aren't people angry enough? Aren't they worried about a revolution? Why would they
To appease these guys?
Exactly, because they need to appease these people, because these are the people that were on social media after the massive revolution with the hashtag more executions. Like they wanted blood. They want executions. Okay, so this is a lot of foreign observers didn't understand. When everybody was waiting for Khamenei to come give a speech to see if he's going to respond to Israel to consulate attack or not. Will there be war? Will there be an attack on Israel? Khamenei came out and gave a speech about enforcement of hijab. And people were like, what the hell is happening? We're trying to see if these two countries are going to go to war with each other. And he's talking about how important hijab is. It's because everything that is happening is about making these motherfuckers happy, right? So Khamenei came out and gave a speech and said, Israel will suffer. They will pay a price for this. And also, hijab is mandatory. We're not going to shy away from that. We are going to go back to enforcing that heavily. And you could see while the missiles were flying to Israel, the hijab enforcers were back in the streets and enforcing hijab laws.
This was a great opportunity for the Islamic regime to show their strength and say to this 8% hardliners that, hey, we're with you, we're listening to you. We've already lost the other 92%. We don't care about them. You're the most important ones to us. And we're going to do what you want us to do. Not only just attack the enemies of Islam, i.e. Israel, but also we're going to get our house in order too with all these Masa Amini rebel women who want to burn off the hijab. We're going to get them in line. So that was a perfect opportunity. Even though they didn't want to do this, they felt like they had to do this, because if they lose this 8%, it's game over. And that is easier to happen than, let's say, Israel bombing Iran or Masa Amini revolutionaries taking to the streets. So that's
they are more afraid of these people turning on them. Okay, when I listen to these radicals, I go into their rooms and on Clubhouse, on Telegram, on Instagram, and I listen to them. The only thing that they support now is Khamenei. They like nothing about the regime. They're against the entirety of the regime, and it's the only duct tape that is leaving them that they're supporters of the regime is because they love Khamenei and they worship them. So keep that all in mind, because when Khamenei dies, that's important information to evaluate what's happening.
It's going to unfold.
Last point I want to make. This also explains, remember when I told you when they killed Zahedi and the Islamic Republic of Iran came out and said that he was involved in the October 7th attack? You were like, these people are idiots. I didn't say anything back then because I wanted to correct you. They're not idiots. Now it makes sense. Why do you think they came out and say that? If you think about it just based on looking at foreign policy, you would be like, that's insane. You were desperate to say that we were not involved in October 7th, that this was the brave warriors of Hamas, this was their own thing, and we were not involved. So why are you now telling the whole world that we were involved? Wouldn't that be a threat against you? Wouldn't that unite the international community against you? But why did they do that? Why do you think they did that?
Again, because they want to appease these hardliners.
But why would that appease them? Because here's the thing. They predicted that whatever they do against Israel, it's going to seem weak. Okay? So they wanted to tell their base that we did October 7th.
Right. Yeah.
We are responsible. Yes, we were like that amazing attack that you saw that killed 1,200 Israelis. That was us.
We did it.
Don't see us as weak. We were strong. We don't even need to take revenge against them taking out their consulate. Because we already
that's what ISIS does. Yeah, like sometimes ISIS claims responsibility for something that it hasn't even done, but it's good for its PR. It's good for its own soldiers that, hey, look how powerful we are. So that's what you're saying. Iran, even though whether they did it or not, I reckon they did, but they could not let go of this credit that they could give to themselves. So they said, hey, look, we did it.
Because if you don't count that, people are going to be like, okay, they took out 7 of our top generals and stuff, and you didn't take out a single Israeli. Not a single Israeli has died. But now if you add on October 7th, now you have 7 compared to 1,200. So now you're like, who looks stronger now?
So they've said that now they're taking responsibility for it after this? Wow. By the way, in Pakistan, people are cussing out Iran. In Pakistan, people are cussing out Iran that you couldn't even kill one Israeli with your 300 missiles. They're calling it an eyewash. They're calling it a drama. They're calling it's just Iran is just saving face.
Yes,
which is we all know it is.
That's why they changed the narrative. Up until just a few days ago, the Islamic Republic of Iran said we had nothing to do with October 7th, and then as soon as the consulate attack happened, they came out. You know what? That was us.
We killed 1,200. You just killed 7 of us. Okay, we killed 1,200 of yours. Okay, all right. That's it, guys. I mean, that's why I always get amazing insights in not only just into Iranian issues, but all other issues as well, as far as the Muslim world is concerned. Or Atheist Republic actually covers all kinds of news items. So do check out Armin Nawabi's Atheist Republic. It's getting off like a house on fire. It's an absolute wonderful channel. I'm sure you'd love it.
Search for Atheist Republic on YouTube. It should be the first thing that shows up.
And also, if you're Persian and if you can understand Persian, then obviously check out Atheist Republic Farsi channel. That's where all the shit's going down.
Yes, if you speak Persian, just search for Jomhuriye Bi Khodayan. Whether you're Iranian or from Tajikistan or from Afghanistan or any of the other former Soviet states that has a lot of Persian-speaking people in it, just search for Jomhuriye Bi Khodayan and that channel will show up.
All right, people.
And subscribe.
You heard it. Subscribe and like. And like and subscribe this video as well. And you can support me by going to patreon.com/HarusSultan. You can also support Armin Nawabi on his patreon.com/Atheist Republic, I believe. Is that right?
Yeah. The links are all in the description. Yeah.
Until next time, ta-ra. If you'd like to support my work, you can become my patron by going to patreon.com/HarusSultan, or you can simply buy me a coffee.